Great. So thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Making Study Abroad Affordable webinar. My name is Martin Garcia, and I'm an International Programs Advisor here at the IEO office, and I'll have my colleague introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Suniga, co-presenting with Martin, and I am the Associate Director for Advising and Outreach. Thank you so much for being here today.
So today's session is actually going to be focusing on making study abroad affordable. So before we get into the session, I want to introduce who we are in case it's your first time getting to know our office. So we are from the UCLA International Education Office. We are a one-stop shop for study abroad. Everything related to study abroad on UCLA's campus, you come to us, and we have lots of different advisors and coordinators in the office who are helping, who want to make your study abroad experience successful and exciting. So if you need any assistance throughout your process of applying for study abroad, or maybe while you are abroad, or just have questions, we're in Murphy Hall to assist you. So we can also connect you with returning students from who've studied abroad, and then they can answer any questions that you have. And we have lots of returnees who are just really excited and want to talk about their experience. So, please do reach out to us if you want to connect with a student. And then in today's presentation, we're going to be going over um, a few things, specifically how to identify affordable programs, our UCLA financial aid and an overview of that, scholarship opportunities, how to budget for study abroad experiences, as well as next steps for studying abroad. So let's discuss identifying affordable programs. To be honest, this is the best way to save money when you're studying abroad. It's selecting the right program for the experiences that you're hoping to get. So when you're considering studying abroad, it's really important to note that you're not paying double. This is a question we get a lot. It's a myth that students sometimes think that they have to pay UCLA tuition along with the study abroad fee, but you're not paying double. You're only paying your study abroad program fee. So depending on the program that you identify to study abroad with, your experience can be more affordable than studying abroad at UCLA. It can be equivalent, or it can be more expensive. So the next slides we're going to be discussing will have different things to consider when you're studying, and we'll find what makes the most sense for you depending on the duration, the credits, and the major you're studying. So we're hoping to help you figure out how to identify the affordable programs for you, and that will help you, have the best study abroad experience. Another factor that you should consider is location. So the cost of living is going to differ depending on where you study abroad. So think about your housing, your local transit options, meals, airfare, and if there's any visa requirements too. And if you're in a large city versus small town, those are all things just to consider. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
go ahead, Kelly.
I was a little slow with the switch there, sorry. So before we get into more of those specifics that Martin has started talking about, I do want to go over the types of programs just real quick. We have a session for each of these, so we elaborate on what these are, but I just want to make you aware that here at UCLA, we offer different types of study abroad programs. So UCLA Travel Study, those are the programs where you go abroad with your UCLA professors. You're mostly abroad with UCLA students, but not always. And so the world becomes your classroom. You are taking UCLA classes abroad in a very experiential way. Those only take place during the summer. Then you have UCLA Global Internship Program. These are for UCLA students only. They only take place during the summer. And the most of your time there, you are in an internship with engaging with the local community. The internships are unpaid, but you are receiving academic credit. And in some cases, you can satisfy major or minor requirements with the program. Then we have UC Education Abroad Program, or UC EAP. This is the type of program that you choose if you want to study abroad during the year, during the academic year, although there are some summer programs as well. UC EAP is a system-wide provider, so meaning that they bring together students from all of the UCs, and they are the ones that offer the traditional university immersion experience. So if you always wanted to study abroad at another university, taking classes with local students, UCEAP is your go-to, but they also offer different types of experiences where you can study abroad at a center with other UC students, taking classes taught by host country instructors. You can do programs based on language culture, centered around a theme, research, and more. So we just wanted to give you this context, and we encourage you to go to our other sessions in our website to learn more about the specific types. All right, so when should you go abroad if you are trying to save money or make the most economical decision? So if you go abroad in the fall, please note that it's generally more expensive. This is one of the more popular terms because students like the appeal of only being away for 1 quarter, but just know that most programs through UCAP are semester-based. So that means you're abroad for a longer amount of time. You are taking more units, and because you're abroad longer, you have more expenses. You got to eat more, right? Your housing is for a longer period of time. So keep that in mind for a fall semester. It could increase the total cost of attendance for you at UCLA. However, there are some quarter-only programs, and though they're not always less expensive, they are generally less expensive than a full semester. So keep that in mind. If you have flexibility within your degree plan, then spring can be a more affordable option. And why is that? That is because there are less units. So that's kind of the other side of the coin. In a semester program, you're doing about 21 to 27 units, 27 units being on the higher end. And that is, the range is less than 2 quarters at UCLA, because at minimum here at UCLA, students are doing 13 units per quarter. So spring semester, most UCA programs are spring semester. You're away for winter and spring quarter, but because you have less units, it's generally less expensive than if you were on campus, especially for non-California residents, because of the non-resident supplemental tuition that you only pay once. I know these are a lot of details that I'm giving you, so I just want this to be the start of a conversation. So definitely when you're coming to talk to us, let us know I was in that presentation and I want you to elaborate a little bit more on fall versus spring. Okay, so summer. In the summer, financial aid tends to be more loan heavy. There are less grants available. And I realize that this could be a concern or a burden for students, right? Especially in this country. But just know that yesterday we had a panel and all of the students on the panel said that they found those loans to be worth it. Now, I'm just saying that because we want you to have an open mind, and we're actually going to give you some tips during this presentation on how you can reduce the amount of loans that you need to take out. Another thing I want to mention about the summer is that if you're a non-California resident, the non-resident supplemental tuition is not required during the summer. So if you're an out-of-state student, you're going to pay the same as an in-state student. Now, during the year, if you go abroad for a full year, which is an option, I encourage you to look into it if you can do it. The year abroad will be about the same or less, sometimes a lot less than being at UCLA. And we'll show you some charts. Finally, the last thing I want to say about the terms and a unique situation that doesn't have to do with the term is multi-site programs. So while multi-site programs are an attractive option, they can add significant costs. So for example, there's a Global Cities Urban Realities program. Students go to Paris, they go to London, beautiful cities, but also too expensive cities, and there are travel costs associated. So that will generally bring up the price of a program. So keep that in mind if you are considering cost as a factor, that maybe that program might not be the best fit for you. And we are going to go into these by showing you some charts shortly. Okay, now back to Marin.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, where location really does play a role. So the cost of living is going to differ depending on where you study abroad. So you got to think about things like housing, local transit, meals, airfare, whether you're flying, really far and how much it costs. And all these things, visa requirements, if you're in a large city versus small town, think about how Los Angeles is more on the expensive side city. So, you could be saving if you're going to a city, but like somewhere like Paris or London, it's going to be generally more expensive, like in Europe. Some of the more affordable locations the city brought in are like in Mexico, Central and South America, Hong Kong, Japan, and Southeast Asia. So all things to keep in mind when you study abroad for sure. And here's a cost comparison. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it does do a good job of showing you how program length, academic units, program fees, and then even airfare travel can all like differ. So right here, we're showing like the difference between GIP programs in Bogota over the summer versus a UCAP program in Mexico over the summer. And then the travel study sociology program in New York. So you'll see, the one in Bogota is 8 weeks as opposed to the travel study is 4 weeks. But the travel study has more units. So all these factors kind of play into the cost of the fees. And you'll see that Bogota has a higher airfare too, but they're roughly around the same price. And then we have the example for UCAP Summer Physics in Ireland and the UCAP London School of Economics. But those ones, you see the one in London actually is a lot more expensive. And that's partially because if you look at the program fees, it has higher fees and other expected budget. And it's just a higher cost of living in London. So you see the differences there by a few $1,000s. So, definitely choosing the right location and keeping everything into consideration is important to finding an affordable program for you.
Thank you, Martin. Super important to note. Okay, so let's move into the academic year. So during the academic year, I want to compare it to what it would cost if you were to stay at UCLA. So basically, the UCLA fall quarter, we're looking at fall here, is the benchmark. So this was taken from the UCLA financial aid website. There are estimates because depending on your cohort, the program fees might be a little different, but approximately the cost of attending UCLA for fall quarter is 14,000 and some change. Now, if you look at a fall quarter program abroad, if you want to keep the cost about the same, you can find some that are around the same or in some cases less. So ICU, International Christian University in Japan, they do have a fall quarter option. You're actually abroad for 15 weeks versus 10 weeks. You're doing more units, but because of cost of living differences, it actually ends up being less, 13,384 approximately compared to 14,000 at UCLA. So you can actually save some money by going abroad in this situation. Now, I said also be aware, earlier I said be aware, fall semester, you're abroad for a longer amount of time, you're getting more units, that could increase the price, the cost of attendance, and that is the case with Carlos III in Spain. It's a fall semester program. Now, we also have to think about value because here you're almost spending double the amount of time versus a quarter, right? So 17 weeks, it's almost 20 weeks, you're almost there, and you're doing 23 to 25 units. And because of that, the price does go up to almost 19,000. So it's about $5,000 more than a fall quarter at UCLA, but look at the value, right? Now, that is a consideration. We have to think about value. But if cost is your primary concern and you're really trying to keep the cost down, then maybe a fall semester option isn't the right one for you, or maybe finding a fall semester option somewhere with a lower cost of living will be the right option for you. So different factors to consider here. Okay, now I want to compare the full year. If you can go abroad for a full year, fabulous. You have a lot of opportunities to save money here. So again, UCLA on campus for a full year is approximately $38,517. Please note that these estimates, the year and the fall ones, didn't include the out-of-state non-resident supplemental tuition, so that is an added cost. But for the full year here for a California resident is about $38,500. Now let's look at UCAP. If you want to go to South Korea at Yonsei for a full year, then the cost will be less than being at UCLA for a year. So about $35,852. And then in some cases, you could save a lot of money, almost $10,000. So $9,000 if you were to do a full year in Sweden at Lund University. Probably be a little chillier than you are here in LA, but you can buy all the coats and layers you need with the money that you'll be saving. So if you can go abroad for a full year, then we do encourage you to look into it because you can actually save a lot of money. All right, next, Martin will pick it up right here.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about UCLA financial aid abroad. So This is a big question we get. Can I use my financial aid for study abroad? So yes, the answer is yes. All students who are eligible can use their financial aid for any study abroad affiliated with the UC system. So that's UC LA's like UCEAP program, that's travel study, and that's our global internship programs. The only caveat is that you need to apply for the FAFSA by the priority deadline or the California Dream Act for DACA students. So, I definitely encourage you to go ahead and apply to FAFSA. And you just remember that your financial aid package is going to be combined of scholarships, grants, and loans.
Thank you, Martin. So one question that we get is, will I get the same financial aid as I do at UCLA? So it won't ever be exactly the same. That's because the cost of attending a program abroad will be a little different. Even if it's around the same, it's not going to be the exact number as it were if you were to stay at UCLA. So for that reason, your grants, if you receive any grants, the amount may adjust up or down depending on your financial situation. With the exception of summer. In the summer, typically grants are limited, and that's because the Cal Grant A is not available during the summer. Neither are any grants from the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan, but there are still some grants. It just really depends on your situation. And in the summer, especially, even students with the most financial need, for example, an EFC of $0 may have a loan component in their financial aid package. And who's in charge of making the determination of how many grants, loans, and scholarships? It remains the UCLA Financial Aid Office. They will package you for the total budget of your program. So there will never be any kind of gap that you have to worry about. They will give you, like Martin said earlier, grants, scholarships, and loans to cover the entire cost of your program. So just keep that in mind. And I just want to say that sometimes the cost of the program is a little higher because you have things like airfare and transportation that you might not have to worry about if you are a local student that lives near the UCLA campus or within driving distance. And during the summer, like I said, loans are a little heavier because the Cal Grant isn't offered. Neither are grants from the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan. But like I said, we do have some tips for you, so stay tuned. And this is one of them. All right, so scholarship opportunities. So these are some of the scholarship opportunities that we have here available. So your UCLA department, if you are participating, especially in a travel study program, some of the departments do have scholarships, like the European Languages and Transcultural Studies department has certain scholarships that you can apply to. That is just one of them. We also have IEO scholarships who are very proactive about raising money for you all to go abroad because we want to make it happen for you. So we offer scholarships specifically for students who are going in the global internship program. We offer scholarships for students who are going to travel study, which means you could get up to 50% of your program fee covered. And then we have additional scholarships that are need-based, identity-based, and in some cases merit-based. If you are participating in a UCAP scholarship, they also have a long list of scholarships. We just picked 3 here in the interest of time, but they have a global scholarship that goes up to $2,000, Guardian scholarship that's $2,500, or special interest and identity scholarships up to $8,000. Now, those are admittedly for the longer programs, like a semester or a year, but you're already saving money on those. And then if you get a scholarship on top of that, you're in a really good situation. Okay, we also have some national scholarships that we want to mention. Now, scholarships are competitive, but you have a lot of resources. Our office has workshops. I'll talk about those in a few. And there's also a center here on campus, the UCLA Center for Scholarships and Scholar Initiatives that can help you prepare competitive applications. So Gilman Scholarship, it's a really reputable scholarship that is funded by the U.S. Department of State, and it supports students who receive the federal Pell Grant, and those awards are up to $5,000. There's also the Freeman Scholarship that supports students with financial need to conduct intensive language studies in Asia. And Fund for Education Abroad supports diverse student populations abroad, like veteran students, transfer students, first-gen students, just to name a few, up to $5,000. And then the Boren Scholarship is one of the most generous ones. It is a niche type of scholarship with very specific criteria, but look at the generosity there, up to $25,000. And we do get UCLA students every year who earn this scholarship. So why not you? I encourage you to apply and put your application on the table. Okay, so I mentioned that I would talk about more resources that we have. So today we did have a scholarship and financial aid info session at noon, and you can find that recording on our YouTube channel. It'll be available within a day or two. Coming soon during International Education Week, which is November 18th through 22nd, we have a Boren and Gilman Scholarship info session. So keep an eye out for that. There will be some former recipients who'll give you some tips. We also partner with the Center for Scholarships and Scholar Initiatives to give you some tips for your personal statement. So keep an eye out for that. And finally, make sure to visit our website. Everything that you found on these slides today is available on our website at ieo.ucla.edu/scholarships. Okay, so budgeting. So I understand that for some of you, you may be feeling like, well, scholarships, like it really depends on whether I get it or not, right? Like they're competitive. And I understand that feeling as a student. I was there in your shoes once. And all I can say is that the more you plan, the better chances. I see students who apply to 5 scholarships and they don't get all of them, but they get one scholarship, right? Or they prepare materials that they later use for grad school, right? So you're never wasting your time by applying for scholarships. It's a good skill to be able to write those personal statements. Now, I understand that there's no guarantee that you're going to get them. So just know there are other things that you can do in order to prepare for study abroad. So we've already gone over the ways that you can choose an affordable program that will be around the same or costing less than being at UCLA. So that's already a great place to start. So that, in addition to the scholarships to financial aid, you also have good old budgeting. So I know that a lot of people don't like budgeting. They say it feels a little restricted, but really budgeting allows you to be the CEO of your money life. So what do I mean by that? Personal budgeting is just great as a funding strategy and a life skill beyond study abroad, beyond college. And so I want to just informally, because I can't see you, poll you, like raise your hand wherever you are. How many of you currently track your spending? And if you didn't raise your hand, if you raised your hand, bravo. Oh, yeah, you are raising your hand. Thank you. I love it. I feel you all so close. So bravo. If you're raising your hand, beautiful. If you are not raising your hand, it's not too late to start. So tracking your spending is just a great way to raise awareness of your financial situation and what I call your saving power. So budgeting for beginners, let me just take it back as a refresher for those of you who don't do this already. So a budget is basically when you look at how much money is coming in and how much money is coming out. When you do the math, if you are in the negative, that means you are spending more than you're bringing in, which means you're getting into debt somehow. Maybe you're owing money to people, or maybe you have credit card debt, that kind of thing. If, on the other hand, you subtract your expenses from your income, the money that's coming in, and you have a positive number, then that is your saving potential. So that is where we want you to be, ideally, is in a situation where the money that you're bringing in is more than the money that's going out every month. So I mentioned income, right? That's the money that's coming in. So we encourage you, as you're forming your budget and as you get into the scale of budgeting, if you're not doing already, is to every month sit down and list down all of your sources of monthly income. So your campus jobs, your off-campus work, any side hustles that you have, maybe you're washing people's cars on the weekend or something, scholarships, the scholarship money that you're bringing in, financial aid, write it all down in a spreadsheet, or if you're old school, write it down in a notebook. Okay, that is the monthly income you have. Then list out all of your monthly expenses. So rent, dining out, clothing, anything that you need like that. And then do the math. Subtract your expenses from your income, and that's where you're going to see if it's positive, which means you are saving, or negative, which means that you're getting into debt and you'll want to make some adjustments. So again, a very powerful life skill to have. And you can use a budgeting app to help with this, something like Mint, if that's more your style. Or like I said, you can do a spreadsheet or keep track of it manually. And know that as a UCLA student, you have access to this amazing office on campus called the UCLA Financial Wellness Program. And they help you do things like budgeting. Okay, so if you budget as a strategy, you can really disrupt the status quo. So, for example, if let's say this is your summer study abroad financial bucket. So status quo Bruin is someone who relies only on financial aid. And so they have some grant money here, but they find that the majority is loans. And loans, as you know, are money that you have to pay back. So this is what the money bucket for status quo Bruin would look like. Now, let's say you're a proactive Bruin, and you all can be because you are applying 9 months to a year before you're going abroad, right? You're already thinking ahead. So you have 9 months to a year to plan for this. So let's say you do your budget and every month you're able to save $50, right? $25, whatever it is, it all adds up. So if you do that, and if you apply to scholarships, then your bucket could look a little more exciting. So you can have personal funds, you can have some scholarships, you can have grants, and that reduces the amount of loans that you'll have to take out in the summer. So, or during the year, if you're going abroad during the year. So I encourage you to be proactive. Let's see that in numbers. So here we have status quo Bruin, like I said, didn't apply to scholarships, didn't save. So let's say their program cost is around $13,000. They went for the summer physics program. And so they have $5,000 grants, and then the rest is loans, so $8,000. So again, they didn't plan for it. This is what they have. Now, proactive Bruin started planning now. Proactive Bruin started saving money during with their part-time job, or maybe got creative and found a way to crowdfund, asked family members if they were willing to chip in $5, right? Anything like that. And so now they have $2,000 to add to their bucket. Then let's say Proactive Bruin applied to as many scholarships as possible and got a 3,000 scholarship. And then they got their $5,000 grants that is part of their normal financial aid. So now look at that. They're still taking out some loans, but now it's $3,000 versus $8,000. So it really pays off to be proactive. All right, so that was the end of the presentation. We do have about a minute or so to answer questions. Let's see what we have. Nothing in the Q&A. We do have a raised hand. So Martin, shall we conclude the presentation, the recording, and take the question?
But that raised hand might have been from earlier. So
Earlier. Okay.
if you want, you can put the question in the Q&A if you have a question. But otherwise, Kelly, if you want to go to the next slide so we can show
Sure.
the contact us. We're in Murphy, room 1332. But we're also on all the social media. So follow us at UCLA IEO on any of the socials, or visit our website, ieo.ucla.edu. We'll give it a second just in case anyone has a question for the Q&A. But if not, thank you for joining us. And it was great to see so many people participate. And yeah, it was great to see y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you.
Oh, I see a question came in. Yay.
All right. So do you recommend a nursing major study abroad for a whole year given the strict class schedule? So I would say it depends on you. First of all, talk to your advisor at the School of Nursing and figure out exactly what that's going to mean. It might delay your graduation for a full year. And if that's the case, see if that's even allowed. And second of all, figure out if that's going to be worth it for you. The resources that are going to go in to you studying abroad for a full year. My understanding is that the nursing major is pretty strict with the courses that can be done abroad and pretty limited to some summer options. But if you are able to do it, or if you have, I don't know your particular situation, if you have a lot of classes that transferred in from another institution, then maybe you'll be okay. But start by talking with your advisor, figure out if it's going to delay your time to graduation, see if that's allowed, And then two, figure out if you have the resources for that. Very unique situation.
Yeah, another question.
All
This
right.
one's, after I
Go
look
ahead,
for a
Mark.
program that applies to me, should I meet with an academic advisor first and then meet with your office? Oh, that's a good question. So I, my recommendation is you can do things concurrently. So you can schedule appointments with both of us. Our office, we're going to be able to advise particularly on like programs, and we can tell you the process for receiving credit for like GEs or for major and minor, but the major and minor credit, that's going to be decided on by your department. Yeah, I think you can kind of work with both of us to kind of figure out different components of your application. I don't know, Kelly, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's solid advice. Definitely simultaneously will save you time, and it'll inform your conversation for each of our offices.
Great. Thanks, Hannah.
All
Any
right.
other
Well,
questions?
thank you, everybody. You've been wonderful. Thank you, Martin, for co-presenting with me, and hope everyone has a great day. Hope to see you tomorrow, Wednesday at Bruin Walk. We'll be there. You can ask us some more questions from
Yeah.
10 to 2 p.m. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.